Production can be a bit of a beast if you're ill-prepared. As the saying goes, anything that can go wrong will. So it's best to plan ahead as much as possible to avoid the frustration of being completely blindsided by production hurdles and delays. Access staffer and producer-director Sherine Crooms will try to help us with some of the basics of pre-production.
There are 3 phases of production. Of course, there's production, post-production, and pre-production, which is the first and most important phase that all else depends on. Pre-production is all about planning and anticipating a variety of scenarios that could majorly derail your project's progress. Although I won't be able to cover everything, I will, however, impart some pertinent basics. My focus will be narrative film, a project that usually requires actors and a script. Before the first page of script is written, you should really develop your idea and figure out what you want to convey and accomplish. Then think about who this would involve. A cast, a production team, volunteers. You can consult with someone who has producing expertise, or you can gather as much material as you can to develop your craft. There are often 1,000,001 expenses involved in producing a project. Legal fees, copyright expenses, insurance, gas mileage, film, tape stock, catering, and the list goes on. Even if you think your project is going to be small, you should still come up with a budget and think creatively about services that may be able to be donated or free of charge. If you're writing a script that you're planning on producing yourself and don't have very much money to do it, then you want to avoid writing big train wrecks, death-defying rooftop leaps, and explosions into your script. Make it a feasible script to shoot. A typical feature-length screenplay is anywhere from 90 to roughly 120 pages. Concerning genre, there are certain conventions like the French baguette in romances or the cliché sex scene in horror movies. Although these conventions most certainly can be broken, you should know what they are first. Time, place, descriptive characters, pacing, and mood can be distinguishing characteristics to a great script, depending on how creatively you imagine the characters and their environment. There are several things to take into account when scouting a location for your production. First and foremost, you want to make sure everyone knows how to get to the location. Once you assess the location based on what is necessary for production, then you can consider requests. Location scouting will help ensure that you've found the best location to meet most, if not all, of your production needs. Since creating motion pictures is a collaborative art form and impossible to do alone, you should develop a good rapport with the people who are going to help make it happen. In other words, don't torch the bridge you're standing on. Develop a plan to waste as little time as possible. Here's a couple of time-saving tips. It's always a good idea to have a shot list and/or a storyboard to get an idea of how you would like the film to look before you shoot. Storyboards can convey what angle and what type of shot you're going for. Breakdown sheets are indispensable. The breakdown sheet is a form detailing the pages you intend to shoot for the day, the location, the cast, also props and wardrobes that will be needed for that day. Food is a very important part of preparing for production. You want to make sure that you're aware of any allergies that cast or crew may have, as well as their preferences. Also avoid heavy food that is going to lull everybody to sleep. Some days will be longer than others, and trust me, you'll need the energy. For more technical production tips from All Things Access, please log on to www.spnn.org.